Hey friends, I'm just going to do a quick update. I can't remember what I said in my previous June update, so I don't know if I'll be repeating myself, but not much has happened. I did do an interview with Dinesh, my ex-boss, longtime mentor, and good friend, and it was a pretty great conversation. I recommend checking it out. Other than that, I have been going in circles, it feels like, and it's frustrating because progress is slow. So my project management is not really up to not as good as I wish it was. It's never been my strong suit. I've always been kind of improvisational, kind of screwing around, messing around. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not so great. And yeah, where am I with that? Well, let's just list everything out. Okay, a part of me wants to finish my 1,000-word vomits project, which is a writing project that I've been working on since I was 21, 22, 21. And I'm trying to write 1,000,000 words. I'm at 810,000-ish, so it's 190,000 to go. It's like 81% done, which feels good, but it also feels like a lot more to go. And I would just like to get it done. And I feel like I don't want to be too repetitive, repeating myself in the last fifth of the project. And so I feel like to do that, I want to reread my word vomit project, which is 800,000 words, so that is a lot of stuff to read. So I'm kind of slow playing that. I also want to update Friendly Ambitious Nerd from version 1.0 to 1.1. There's so much stuff missing from that book that, to be kinder to myself, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that only became apparent to me after I published the first book. And the first book was, I wouldn't even say it's really a book, it's a collection of essays, blog posts, threads. It's all over the place. It's not coherent. It doesn't have a clear kind of throughput. It doesn't have a spine, a line of action. And I am articulating what I think that line of action is, and it's becoming clearer in my head, but it always feels and sounds like it might be bullshit until it's done. And for some reassurance on that, I was looking up how I was tweeting about Introspect, my second book, how I was tweeting about it while I was working on it. And I rewrote that book 8 or 9 times, maybe 10 times. And there were times where like rewrite 6 and rewrite 7, I'm like, I know this sounds crazy. I know it sounds like I'm making excuses. I know it sounds like I'm avoiding writing the book that I said I was going to write. But, I'm like, let's renegotiate this with myself. And I did. And it was the right thing to do. Looking back, it was the right thing to do. I'm glad that I did it. So, that's just my process. And, looking at history, there were people who would spend, like years and years, like decades working on their material, right? Recently-ish, like Hamilton took 7 years to write, and that was, I think that's remarkable. And, what is it like to work on something for 7 years? Like, that's a very substantial thing, but yeah, that's just where I'm at. I want to write some Substack essays, but I've been wrangling with what exactly should I write about? Do I want to be writing more Friendly, Ambitious, and Nerd and Introspect stuff? Do I want to be writing something completely different? A part of me wants to be reading my books, right? I have all these books that I've bought that I haven't started reading yet. I'm reading a bit of Carl Jung's memoirs. It's pretty great. But mostly I feel like every day I wake up and I just sit around, right? Scroll Twitter and reply to people and think about stuff. And I'm okay with that. And I guess I would like to keep making videos. As long as I keep making videos, I feel like I'm making some kind of progress. And I do feel like everything that I'm working on is kind of building up to bigger and better things. And I don't think I'm deluding myself about that. But I think as I sit down and say this out loud, I'm like, what do you want, Visa? Well, I want to see progress, and that is something that can be engineered, it can be designed. It's a matter of how you're framing the thing. I don't have to do this thing where I work in the dark for years and then only at the end do I experience relief or joy or satisfaction or whatever, So I should design my process such that I get to enjoy the intermediate steps along the way, and I get to celebrate intermediate steps along the way. I'm at 3,950 YouTube subs. It'll be nice to cross 4,000. It's such an arbitrary number, but arbitrary numbers feel good, so I will make a celebratory video when 50 more people subscribe. Tell your friends, right? And yeah, what else? I I want to process my notes. I'm always processing my notes, right? It's an infinite game of going through my journals, going through my entries. I restarted a Tumblr, which I feel like what I'm doing is I am going through my tweets and my threads and my blog posts, and I'm basically, I find that when I switch platforms, it lets me think fresh, and I can kind of I describe it as pouring my Twitter through my Tumblr, right? So it's like kind of like a net, and it catches some of the good stuff and lets the rest of the stuff go through. And I also feel, so I think I'm going to do that with my YouTube videos as well. I think what I'm going to do, because I said earlier that I want to reread my 1,810 word vomits, which is 810,000 words. I think I'm going to read like maybe 50 at a time or something like that, and I'll pick out my favorite in each 50 or so, and I will make videos about those word vomits. And part of the point of that is to resurface good ideas that I've had in the past. Part of it is to comment on those things and see how things have changed. And it just gives me an incentive, I guess. It gives me an incentive to read the stuff, because I want to get to the end of it so that I can continue to the end of the project in a way that feels good. And that's about it. That's kind of what I'm doing. And I'm writing, reading, remixing, trying to figure out clever phrases for things. I'll make another video after this about the progress I've made on Friendly Ambitious Nerd. Separate video. Thanks for hanging out. I hope your month is going great. I'm going to do these every month, so I would invite long-time viewers, commenters to consider, if you like, it's up to you, right? But like, you could leave comments with what your monthly updates are like if you want, or just what you're thinking about, what you're working on, and we can kind of kickstart this little vibe, kind of accountability, very casual and informal, right? So I found that trying too hard to build some kind of accountability structure, it's most difficult for the people who most need it, which is very tragic. The people who are very good at it don't need it. And so I think the solution to that is like baby steps, intermediate steps. And so, yeah, you can leave comments and see what happens. I'm not, I am partially engagement farming, but, isn't that a bit more thoughtful than don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me stuff. I want to read. I want to chat. Let's chat. Let's get this show on the road, right? Done. Thanks for hanging out.